Hello everybody and welcome back to Timberborn. As always, I am Dor, and today we're going to go ahead and most likely wrap up the series here. So in between episodes, I went ahead and placed down a few more storage buildings, and we have currently 440 berries and we have 11 carrots. So I went ahead and removed some of the berries and placed down a carrot patch because we were running into an issue where we didn't have the berries to support just 40 beavers. So we got very close to starving. We got down to like I think 30 berries before we started harvesting again, and I didn't want to risk having any of these guys starve to death, so I just went ahead and threw in a quick little farm here, and we are producing a decent amount of carrots. Not a whole lot to kind of offset the berry production, but enough to kind of have them eat the carrots instead of the berries so that we can go ahead and continue breeding beavers and feeding them all in one go, and it's not completely dependent on the berries at the moment. Or it's still heavily dependent on the berries, but it's not like starving chances if we don't have enough berries being produced. I'm going to go ahead and leave those two breeding pods paused because right now we're at capacity basically. We only have one more bed available. And I realized as well, the lumber that we have down is not enough to keep up with the engines here. So I went ahead and removed even more berries, and we have another patch of lumber down here. We have a little patch over here across the water that is not ever been harvested, I don't think. For whatever reason, maybe this guy can't keep up with the harvesting of this side because he's also targeting this area as well. So maybe they've not had any downtime to cross the little road over here to go ahead and harvest this thing, but they just don't do it. Like this guy is the only one that's available to do it, and they haven't harvested it yet, so I'm not sure. But one of the things I noticed in between episodes is that there is actually a limit to how deep you can go on these maps. I didn't quite realize that. I think on the original factions map, I think it was something like this area deep, right? Where you can go like 4 or 5 deep and not hit the bottom bit. But over here where we are right now, we can only drop this river, this little section of the river, down 1 block. We can go down one more, and then this layer is not blow upable. It's not removable of any type. So what I want to go ahead and do is have them remove, I don't need to pause it, I want them to remove this dam right here, and then I want them to go ahead and replace that with TNT at the moment, because I went ahead and have the entire riverbed laid out with TNT already, because it's going to take us a little while to generate TNT. I have 2 of the paper mills down, 2 of the TNT factories down, and we still kind of produce TNT somewhat frequently at the moment, kind of not too frequently. If I go ahead and enable both of our paper mills right now, and we might need to go ahead and turn on one more engine just to supply the amount of power we need to be coming down the line. Actually, maybe not. These are only, I think, 75 power each, or 100 power each. They are 80 power each, so that would be another 160 power on the line here, and we should be able to go ahead and supply that because, or actually, no. Wait. Yeah. We're producing 780 at the moment, and we only have a power demand of 300 right now because the only things running are the explosive factories. So once these TNTs get placed, I'm going to go ahead and put it into 2 times mode or 3 times mode here because it's going to take a little while for the nighttime to go through. And then once the nighttime is done here, I will go ahead and drop it down to 2 times here, but we need to go ahead and have them place that stuff just so we can go ahead and do this in one go here instead of having to wait for them to finish placing things and doing things like that. So once these things are done, we'll go ahead and put it back down into 2 times mode here. Okay, so all the TNT is placed, but I'm realizing now that when we detonate this, we're going to have to place down the double floodgate because that's the only one we can use here. We can use the triple floodgate if we want to flood the land here, which we don't really want to do. But we're also going to need to remove this piece here, which isn't that big of an issue, right? It's only 1 block down, so we should be able to go ahead and do that. So actually, we should be able to go ahead and just detonate right now and not have any issues. So let's go ahead and detonate. It's going to go all the way down the riverbed here and stop at the triple floodgate that I went ahead and placed down. And now if we were to go ahead and try and detonate this chunk of land, we would just waste a stick of dynamite on it, and it would tell us that we can't detonate it because it's too low to the ground already. So let's go ahead and have them toggle the level 2 floodgate, and we'll go ahead and just have it like that. And we need to go ahead and actually enable our plank buildings going because we don't have any planks built at the moment. So we need you and you on. And that's going to chew through whatever little bit of logs that we do have right now because, again, we're not really able to keep up with these guys. On this map, I don't think the Iron Teeth guys were a good idea for this tiny map. I think maybe the other faction would have been better. This faction is is a little weird to go ahead and do on this map where everything's kind of tight and you really need to maximize on space. It's not really what I'm good at here, but let's go ahead and also wait until daytime again, and then we can detonate this side of the river because we need to drop this river down 2 more times, I think, or 1 or 2 more times here. Okay, and let's go ahead and start detonating. So this one's not going to be a big explosion because that's just right against the floodgates, and it's just going to drop down 1. But this one should go ahead and drag it all the way down toward the waterfall here, and it's going to go ahead and detonate all the way there, and it should stop right next to it. And I think we might have enough TNT already backlogged at the moment because we have 237. And I don't think we need more than that to do this riverbed here, in all honesty. So there we go. It's all done. And let's go ahead and pause it for just a second because we're going to have to remove the water wheel as well, now that I'm thinking about it. So let's actually remove it now just to go ahead and get it out of the way. And then we can also remove all of the power stuff here as well because we don't need that here anymore if we're not going to have the water wheel. And with the water wheel gone here, we can actually remove the staircase that's here and replace it with this one there. And we will have to go ahead and actually move it down a little bit. So let's hold off on placing the staircase there. We're going to have this thing connected in, but maybe we can just go ahead and have a platform walking across the top here instead of having the staircase here instead. And we are indeed going to have to drop down the riverbed here by 2. So let's go ahead and do that. I think we can get most of this stuff planted just by the walkway here and not have to do more stairs, but we might have to do a staircase for this little bit here, which is a little annoying here. I might have wanted to go ahead and do this a little bit differently here, but it's already done, so we might as well just place those there. Let's have them build those as quickly as we can, and we're still at capacity on employees, so we should be good. And we'll have that get built. We have this thing coming along. Where are we at on planks? We have a couple planks being generated. Let's go ahead and throw it into 2 times so that stuff is actually being done kind of fast here. And if we have any extra TNT at the end of this, I would like to try and blow up this little bit of dirt because I don't know if the water deposit thing here actually produces water in all directions, because if it does, then I can run a river back behind and try and hydrate some of the land over here as well, so that maybe we can have some more trees or some more food types being grown as well, so that we can try and get the most out of the map here. I don't know what to do about this side. I think what we can try and do, if we were to go ahead and actually try and hydrate this section of the map, we could have gone with the water dump. We would just need to go ahead and blow out like a little puddle area, and then we have one of these just dropping the water into it, and that would hydrate the area as well. But that's going to be like a lot of beavers and a lot of a headache to actually get things going. So I'm really not trying to do that at the moment. But we have this little patch of TNT placed, so let's go ahead and detonate that so we can go ahead and begin moving the stairs and stuff. So we need to go down 1 more. And can we do that right here and try and just save some time and not have to actually wait until this thing is completely dug out? We might be able to. I'm going to try and have them cover this whole area as well, just so we can see if it's going to let us do that or not. Okay, we got the first 2 little bits of TNT here. Let me go ahead and detonate those. And I didn't mean to pause it, but there we go. We should be at the lowest point of the map here. So yeah, if we go down this layer and connect into the water gates, that's the bottom of the water gate there, and the bottom of the water gate is connected to the bottom of the map, so we should be good. So what I want to go ahead and do is run one of the triple platforms over to the side here. And it's not too bad to build, only 6 logs and 4 planks. But once these 2 are done getting built, we'll be able to go ahead and detonate this little bit and this little bit and drop them down, and then have the beavers go ahead and blow up the rest of that as well, so that we have a connection across to the other side. And then we're going to have to run another staircase down into the bottom bit here to go ahead and allow us to fully lay out the TNT on the bottom of the river here to go ahead and detonate it one more time here. So our floodgate over here is done getting built. I'm going to go ahead and bump that up to 2 because I want to go ahead and try and get as much water in this area as I can. And I think leaving it on 2 will be okay. Well, maybe not. Is it going to sort itself out? It is not going to sort itself out. Okay, let me go ahead and drop that back down to 1.5. I would like to have a bunch of water in there, but I guess I'll just go ahead and close it when the drought rolls around and then just backlog some water in there. Why is it going so low? At only 1.5, it's dropping a ton of water out of it. Okay, well, yeah, we just have to go ahead and close the floodgate by the time the drought rolls around and then just kind of leave the area flooded for a second until the drought dries it out, which isn't too big of an issue. But over here, I'm trying to go ahead and have our beavers drop this thing down far enough for us to go ahead and connect in like that, and then we should be able to detonate this. And now we should be able to connect in a staircase, but no, we need to go ahead and place down one of those ones and connect that in with a staircase, and then we need to detonate. Actually, no, we don't want to detonate this one just yet, because once we detonate that, then we're going to be on the layer of the bottom that we can't remove. And so if we leave it like this, we can go ahead and layer out the TNT again, and then we can detonate it, and that'll be it. We can't go any lower than that, so that's all we need for that. And then once we have these stairs connected in, we can go ahead and remove these ones and detonate this little area to go ahead and build the bridge over the top here. So let me actually go ahead and set this as high priority so that it gets built a little bit quicker. And it looks like this whole little area is pretty much done except for this one, which they can't get to. So let me just leave that be for a second. And then once we go ahead and remove this stuff over here, it'll allow us to get to that last one. And then we can go ahead and detonate it in a second. Okay, so those stairs are done getting built. Let me go ahead and remove those stairs. And let's actually remove this one and this one. We might leave some beavers stranded on the other side of this thing, which we are indeed. Okay, so hopefully we can get the TNT planted quick enough. And let me just also set that as high priority so they do it quicker than just sitting around and not doing anything. And then we need to detonate it and then plant it and detonate it again to go ahead and clear out the rest of this little bit here. And we need one more planted, please, before it gets nighttime and nobody wants to work. I'm going to crank the thing up a little bit so they continue working through the night. There we go. And we should be able to go ahead and detonate that little bit. And let's go ahead and plant the other section. And also set that as high priority, please. Let's do that. And I don't think they'll go ahead and plant these ones. They'll go ahead and plant this first one. I don't know about that second one. Oh, wait, no, they should, because they have a pathway to it. So, yeah, they should be able to go ahead and plant that. Okay, so all of this little area is covered in TNT, this little section right here. Let me go ahead and detonate that, and then that's going to allow us to go ahead and run the platform over the top of it and connect the other side to it. The beavers that were over here have since starved to death, so that's not great for us, but it was only a couple of them, so I'm not too worried about it. We are dropping back down into the low 30s because we are having all of our beavers die from old age at the moment. So once this thing is up and going, I'm going to go ahead and prioritize the placement of the TNT again, but for right now I'm going to have them try and speed this whole section up really quick so that we can go ahead and connect back over to this side of the place and get our berry production back underway. We should be able to go ahead and remove the staircases over here now because we don't need them. We're not going to go back into that riverbed anytime soon, and we should also be able to go ahead and place a TNT there to go ahead and take out the last little block in the riverbed here. And the platform across is built, so let's run the pathway over. We can go ahead and remove that pathway there so that we don't have that kind of just janky little turn. And let's go ahead and plant a maple tree right there so that we have more wood coming out. And I think that's all we need to do right now, right? That's all we needed to kind of like sort out here. So let's go ahead and run the TNT all the way back up to the riverbed here. So I'm going to go ahead and start from over there. Actually, we need to open up this because we're going to have to run a pathway to get to there. So let's do that now. And yeah, the best way to do it is to just run a pathway and then detonate on our way back so that we can go ahead and place the water things in one go instead of detonating and then having to clear space for the water things and then detonating again. So we're going to go ahead and drag it on over. And is that going to be far enough to connect everything in? We need to go a little bit further. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to run TNT all the way up to the pathway. So something like that. And we're going to have them high prioritize this so it's done quicker. And we should have this building full of people, and we do, so it's going to place the TNT a lot quicker than we would normally do. And then this place needs an employee, which we don't have available at the moment, so we just have to wait for one of our beavers to grow up to go ahead and work there. I also went ahead and ran a staircase up the backside of our district hub here because we didn't have the range with the district hub. The range on it was ending right here at the end of the little crossroad right here in the road, so we weren't actually able to get up to the top of this mountain and clear out the lumber that was up there. And the reason the roading is all here on the top of the mountain is because for whatever reason the mountain keeps like spawning trees back in to plant. So I just went ahead and covered it all with the pathway to go ahead and stop it from doing that, because I didn't want to keep having workers come up here and remove the little saplings or cut down the trees if I didn't see the sapling in time and whatnot. So I just went ahead and did that to just kind of keep it from doing it anymore. But anyways, I think we can also go ahead and disable the plank making because we don't need any more planks. We don't have, or actually no, we're going to need a lot of planks. What am I talking about? We need to leave those working because we're going to lay pretty much the entire river full of the tier 3 little platforms, so we can go ahead and cram in some water makers or water pumps. Our water situation is pretty good. I went ahead and got one of the big water tanks built, and it kind of helps out, but we do kind of get very low every now and again, and I'm not quite sure why. I think it was because we kept running out of water during the beginning bits of the droughts, and maybe that was kind of playing a factor, but we did lose some beavers to thirst. So yeah, it doesn't let me scroll back that far. Oh, actually it does. That's actually, no, that's one of the people that were over here that couldn't actually eat. So never mind. That's not one of the ones that died normally from the thirst issue, but hopefully the 199 TNT that we have is going to be enough to do this whole riverbed. If not, we do need to go ahead and re-enable our paper makers to produce a little bit more TNT, but I'm going to go ahead and let them finish laying out this TNT here, and then I'm going to detonate it and scooch them on back and detonate again, and then scooch them and detonate, just so we can go ahead and place down the water things and increase our water supply here in the river. I just realized we can actually squeeze some of the water things in right here. We can squeeze one of them in at least by the floodgate right now. So let me actually toggle our beavers to go ahead and build some of these things here as well. And we can actually pause for just a second and see how big this thing actually is, because we don't want to place too many here. And if we place it like that, we can't actually squeeze that in there. And we can only place one right here the way we have it set at the moment. We could spin it around and clear the platform thing there. Actually, if we place this one here, right, that's connected into a pathway. And then that one wouldn't be connected into a pathway because of the way the bridge goes over. We can't really do that. We could place this one here, though, and remove this platform. Oops, remove that platform. And we can place that one in like that. And then this one wouldn't really work anywhere unless we want to blow up the dirt, which we don't really want to do. And then we can cram it in there, though. But yeah, I think that'll be good. We'll go ahead and remove these platforms so they don't get built and we don't waste material on them, because there's no way we can squeeze a water thing in right here. And that one can also go, so we're not wasting any material. And then, yeah, we'll let this thing get built. And that means we can go ahead and remove one of the water makers over here once this one's done, and kind of start scooching things over and getting ready for being placed on top of the water here. Okay, so this first little patch of TNT is ready to go. Let me go ahead and detonate that and get it out of the way. And that's going to drop the riverbed as low as we can go. So now we can go ahead and remove a little bit of the road until we have just enough reach with our workers to go ahead and hit the very edge of that. So let me just double check really quick. We are on the edge of it, but that might just be because we're kind of still really far out and don't need to be that far. So let me see. Yeah, we're still reaching the end of it. So back this up one more time. And now we're not reaching the end of it. So let me actually scooch the road back out 2 tiles. And we need 2 more tiles to reach the end of it there, and there we go. Okay, cool. So we are going to go ahead and have the TNT go from that all the way over to the beginning of the pathway again. And then we got maybe 1 more detonation after that, and then we're done lowering the river for today. So we got the water pump placed down over here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the first one in the line over here. Just go ahead and get it out of the way. And I also want to go ahead and place the TNT there so that it gets placed, then we can go ahead and lower that and then lower the rest of this together instead of having to hopefully come back and blow it up later. I kind of want to avoid having to replace any more stairs, so I want to go ahead and detonate that little section and then replace the TNT there. And then I'm also going to go ahead and try and place down some of the platforms right now once we clear this little section, so that we can go ahead and hopefully place down some water things right here, so that we can go ahead and remove these guys as well and do the TNT in all one go instead of having to, again, having to place more stairs to get back in the water and place more TNT at once we're done with this. So I want to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so we got this little section planted. Let's go ahead and detonate this, and then we are going to go ahead and pause it again. And while we are paused, we're going to go ahead and try and place down these things to allow us to squeeze as many of the water things in here as we can. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover the entire riverbed with them. So with the scaffolding placed, we also need to keep in mind that we're going to have to run a pathway connecting them to the main area here, or else our employees can't actually work them. So I don't think I'm going to do too many of the pumps, because I think 4 is kind of okay. It's kind of cutting it, but it's not quite enough. And I want to go ahead and maybe do 2 more. So we're just going to place down 6 of these in total. And so in all honesty, I don't know if we're actually going to need the pathway leading all the way back over to there. So for right now, if we have the pathway connecting into the thing here, once this pump is gone, we can have the pathway starting there. So we would have our first water things connecting into that. So we would need you going that way. And so we would need you to go ahead and disappear so we can connect into it. And that should work. And then if we have the pathway continue going down, we can't run one there, but we could run one the other way, but we would need the pathway somehow connecting into it, which is not going to happen like that. So these ones would probably go for right now. We could run one on the other side of that at some point, but right now we don't have the TNT placed to remove those, so we can't actually see. And so if we have the pathway coming down and this is going to be the pathway block, we can go ahead and just do that like this. I'm going to try and run the pathway as much on the scaffolding here as I can, so we don't eat up any of the plantable surfaces here. So with that in mind, we would place the other ones somewhere like this, and that would work, but we would have to eat up a little bit of the plantable surface, so we can actually spin this around, and that would actually end our little thing there. We would still have to go onto the plantable surface. So maybe we just kind of do that. We might as well just kind of bite the bullet a little bit here and place it there, because it's only one tile of grass versus however many of these things is going to try and wiggle our way around. So let's place that there. We kind of use a little bit of the plantable surface, but it's not too big of an issue. And that's going to be 2. And then we can squeeze the rest of them in right here, I think. We might even be able to squeeze this around in a different way. Maybe we hold off on trying to place this stuff until after we're done with the last little bit of the riverbed here. Maybe that's a good idea. Let me actually remove all this stuff. Okay, actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the water things right now, because we only have one person working in them, and the other ones aren't employed at the moment. We don't have the beavers working in them. So hopefully this guy goes over here and works in this water pump over there. But let me go ahead and just layer out the rest of this with TNT, and we should be able to go ahead and back up the pathway right up until the staircase, I think, and we should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and have them plant these 3, and then we'll go ahead and have them get detonated, and then we can go ahead and plant the rest of this in one go here. So let's see. We should be able to do this, and that backs the pathway up. And no, we need to go back out. Oh, actually, no, we don't. Oh, we do need to go back out a little bit. So let's do 2 blocks, and that's good enough. So let's go ahead and detonate these guys. And that opens up the rest of the riverbed to the TNT here. So let's go ahead and layer it on out here. Okay, so the last bit of TNT is placed. Let's go ahead and clear out the rest of the riverbed here. And that's as low as we're going to get. So we can go ahead and remove the staircases and platforms that lead down here, because there's no reason for them to be there anymore. So let's clear those out. And then let's go ahead and try and figure out where we want to go ahead and have our water pumps here, because right now we kind of don't have all that much room. The river here is only pretty much wide enough for one at a time, so we need to kind of like wiggle our way into certain spots and try and figure out the best places for these. And I can't actually hover over the water with those. So let me fill in the riverbed with the platforms again. So let's see. We should be able to go ahead and squeeze one in. If we do it like that and have the pathway going over the top layer of the little platform here, that might work. Kind of, I think. So let's go ahead and see if we do it like that and we have the pathway following along the top layer of this. Will that allow us to go ahead and squeeze some in? We can't place one there. Actually, we could probably place one sideways. Yeah, that would work. So let's remove that. And we can also actually place one here. If we wanted to go ahead and keep it in line with the other one like that, that would go ahead and eat up this little section though, and we couldn't place one there if we wanted to. So if we do that, we can remove the pathway here though. So, or not the pathway, the scaffolding to save on some space. So that's 3 of them down. We can also place one right here. So kind of the same thing as this one. So this one could go like that. And that also allows us to place one sideways here. So if we remove that pathway or that platform, we can place the other water pump there. And then we can remove this platform and this platform. And we need to place down the pathway like that. And let's see, we can remove this platform. That doesn't need to be there anymore. And we just need one more of the water pumps down, and that's going to be the 6 of them that we're going to have placed at any point here. So from this guy, we can actually place the last one right here against the side. And then we need this one to be removed, and I think this one removed as well. So we should be able to place this one in like that. Actually, no, we want to scooch that over by 1 so that we're not on the grass at all here. So something like that should work, and there we go. So those should be all that we need because we're never going to have more than 40 beavers on this map. I don't know if the iron teeth are really that doable on this map. Maybe on the normal map we can go past 40 and have like an actual industry and stuff like that set up, but on this diorama map where room is limited, I don't know how we go about doing that just yet. But anyways, we do have some TNT left over. We only have 81, and that's not a whole lot to do anything with. But really quickly here, I want to see if this is going to work at all. So I want to go ahead and have them remove the roading here, the pathway there, and have them detonate this little section of grass, because if it lets us have the water flowing in 2 ways, that would be great. But I don't know if it's going to let me do that, because these are source blocks, and I don't know if they only flow in one direction or if they just output water in general. So I guess we'll see here in a second when we get the beavers up there to detonate this. Okay, so the game just crashed, but we are pretty much just where we left off at. I'm doing the detonation down here again in just a second, but I went ahead and had them place down the TNT up here really quick just to kind of see if this is going to work or not. So let's go ahead and detonate this little section. And is the water going to flow this way? It doesn't look like that's going to work. Okay, so the source blocks only flow in one direction, I guess. So what we can go ahead and do is replace the road here so that we don't have trees growing. And what I want to go ahead and do, because we're going to have, I think it was 80 or so TNT. I'm not quite sure, but I think we had like 80 TNT left over. What I want to go ahead and do is have them place down a staircase up here so that we can go down into the little bowl of water here and hopefully layer out some TNT and drop down this thing a little bit. We would want to go ahead and place down the levees and stuff, or not the levees, the floodgates over here to go ahead and like have a pool of water backlogged. Actually, hold on. Is it flowing backwards? There's water in that little puddle there. Let me remove this before they place anything there. And let me actually blow up this little section too and just see if we have water flowing the other way, because I guess the one little block wide thing that we have there isn't big enough for us to actually see, but it does look like there's water there. It's just not pooling up like it's dammed or anything. So maybe we need to open it up a little bit more and water will start flowing. It definitely looks like there's water flowing now. So let me detonate this. And yeah, we definitely have water coming out of the source block both ways. So that would have been good to maybe do a little earlier in game and have like a little river leading down the backside here and stopping maybe here where the green patch is right now, or a little bit past it, and hydrating this area and hopefully hydrating a good portion of the land here, if we go ahead and blow up like a little 4x5 little lake or something to just hold some water during the off season and stuff, that would have been kind of good to do. Right now, there's really no point to it because we're not going to expand the beaver population anytime soon or do anything crazy like that. But I think for right now, that's actually going to go ahead and be where I wrap up the series here. We went ahead and lowered the river. We are a little bit back in time to where we have to lower it again, but I mean, we kind of just did that. We increased our water capacity pretty good. As long as we were to go ahead and get the water pumps back in the water here, we would not have any water issues, I don't think, at the 40 beaver cap that we set ourselves at. So for right now, I think that's going to go ahead and be it for this series here. Hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.